Hey guys, this is Sophia here. Today we are going to learn about abstraction interface. At the end of the presentation, we will understand what an interface is, revise the concept of abstraction, what is the need for interface in Java, syntax, see some coding examples regarding interface, and know few important observations about interface. Abstraction. What is abstraction? Abstraction is a process of hiding the implementation logic. Abstraction lets you focus on what the object does instead of how it does it. Yes, we focus on what the object does. If I say, let's prepare idli, I want idli, but I don't tell you how do we prepare idli. It is up to you. It is your logic. You prepare idli. Yes. So I just tell you I want idli. Okay, like that. Abstraction let you focus on what the object does instead of how it does it. There are two ways to achieve abstraction in Java. Abstract class, which I have already discussed, and interface. In this presentation, I am going to discuss about interface, where we achieve 100% abstraction. What is 100% abstraction? I am going to tell you very soon. Overview of interface. In the Java programming language, an interface is a reference type similar to a class, but interface is not a class. Interface is a way of describing what classes should do without specifying how they should do it. Yes, the interface in Java is a mechanism to achieve abstraction. It is a mechanism. It is a container. We can say it is a container that stores the signature of the methods to be implemented later in class. So it contains the method's definition, the signature, or we can say it is a container where we define the methods which have no method body. The method which we declared in the interface, it have no method body. We define it in the later classes. A class can implement one or more interfaces. A class can implement one or more interfaces. So this is the syntax of interface. We use the keyword interface, interface name, this is the method name, and with semicolon, method name 2 and with semicolon. You can see it has no method body. That means I want idli, but I do not tell you how to prepare idli. It is up to you. Now use this, take this idli method and prepare idli and give it to me. Okay, proceed. Why and when to use interface? We use interface to achieve security. Yes, to achieve security, because by using interface we can achieve 100% abstraction. 100% abstraction means here inside in the interface all the methods are abstract in nature. There is no constructor or no concrete methods are there. It is strictly abstract in nature. It has no method body, it has no instance field, but the variable which we declare are by default static, final in nature. Okay, so by using interface we can achieve 100% abstraction. That means we hide the implementation of all methods completely in interface. We hide the implementation, the logic completely here. Multiple inheritance is allowed in the form of interfaces, which is not possible in Java, but through interfaces we can achieve multiple inheritance, okay, but not in the form of classes. A particular class can have multiple parent interfaces. A class can have multiple parent interfaces, but a particular class can't have multiple parent classes. Okay, remember that. But a class cannot have multiple parent classes. We'll see it through example. A particular class can extend one parent class. A particular class can extend one parent class, but it can implement multiple interfaces. But a class can implement multiple interfaces. Here you can see extends keyword and another is implements keywords. Okay. Need for interface in Java. So what is the need? We achieve total abstraction, we can achieve multiple inheritance, and we can achieve loose coupling, that is mostly independent. It is up to you. You use your own logic and prepare easily. It is completely independent. So multiple inheritance in Java through interfaces. If a class implement multiple interfaces or an interface extends multiple interfaces, it is known as multiple inheritance. Here you can see this is a class. Class implements interfaces, multiple interfaces, implements keyword is using. Here the class, here the interface extends, here the interface extends multiple interfaces. Okay, you can see through example. Let's understand through coding example. Okay, here you can see the package name com.interface demo 2. Here I define in two interface 1, interface 2. So let's see what is inside interface 1. Here I create by right clicking here. How do I create interfaces? Right click here, then new, then click on interface, and you can give a name. Here I give name interface 1, then finish. Okay, then it generate this where I declare the method public void game1. Okay, then I create another interface name interface 2. Here I declared the method public void game2, but here this interface 2 extends interface 1. So an interface can extend interface 1. Here we can see an interface extends interface 1, an interface extends another interface. Okay, so here interface 2 extends interface 1. So here now you can see here only game2, but here it inherits the method of interface 1, that is public void game1. Now let's implement those. Here now create another class. I create a class test interface. Right click here, go to new and create class, and I give the class name as test interface in Java. This interface implements interface 2, where interface 2 extends interface 1. So here now I just implement interface 2. We can implement more than one interface also, but here as I wanted to show you the demo, that's why I wanted to show you the interface 2 extend interface 1. That's why the method of interface 1 is present here too. So when I create the class here, I only implement interface 2. So those two method I implement here in this class. I define those two methods here. It is the responsibility of the class to define those method which is declared inside the interface, the game1 and game2. Here you use override it. If you don't use it, it's also okay, but let's have practice to use it. Okay, so the game1 is override here, game2 is override here, game interface 1. Now let's test it. So right click here and create another class which contain the main method. Okay, so this method contain main. Here I instantiate the object of the class test interface. Okay, of the class test interface, but we can't instantiate object of the interface. Okay, remember, we can't instantiate object of the interface. We here I instantiate the object of the class test interface. This is a class. Okay, where test interface will be equal to new test interface. So access those two methods using dot operator ob.game1 ob.game2. Now right click and run the program. Run is Java application. Yes, you can see game interface 1 and game interface 2, which I define in this class. Both the method of the interface, game interface 1, game interface 2. Okay, let's now move on to another example. Here also I declare two interface me.java, interface you.java. How do I create it? I right click here on that package, go to new, then click on interface and give the interface name and finish. That's how I create it. So the interface me contain the method me. It has no method body. Interface you contain the method you. It has no method body. Now I create the class us. How? By right click here, new class. So this class implements these two methods simultaneously. You can see interface me and comma interface you. Here I implement these two methods in this class us. Now it is the responsibility of us, this class, to define those methods which are present in interface me and interface you. So use the keyword override public void you system.out.println it's you, void me public void me it's me. So I used override here. Now here I define a non-override method, that is method that belongs to this class only. It is not present in the interface, it is present in this class only. So we are glad to hear write it. So now I define another class which contain main method. So I use the class us to instantiate the object. So object dot u dot operator object dot me object dot us to access these methods. Now right click here and run as right click run as Java application. You can see it's you, it's me, we are glad to hear. Okay, so that's how we can see how the class implement two interfaces simultaneously. We can use interface to more than multiple interface by using comma. So use the keyword implements and did it. Okay. Why multiple inheritance is not supported through class but supported through interface. Why? Because of ambiguity. Yes, it is confused, it is unclear about it when we use through class. However, it is supported in case of an interface because there is no ambiguity. Means its implementation is provided by the implementation class later. We implemented it, define those method later, so it is up to your choice. So there is no ambiguity here. Let's see through example. So here in this package com.interface demo 3, here I have right click on source folder and then go to new and create a package. Okay, I create a different package where you can see two interface, game1.java, game2.java. So game1.java contain the method play, which has no method body, it is an interface, and game2 also contain the method play, same method. Now I create a class name games, which implements these two interface game1 and game2 simultaneously through comma, using the comma. Okay, so public class games implements game1 game2. So now responsibility of the game class is to define all those methods which present inside game1 and game2. So here I define public void play, play football, and public void play. Here you can see both methods are same, but we define it in later in the implemented class, not directly inside. If it the game 1 and game 2, if these are the class, it is now the interface. So the benefit of using interface is that we hide the implementation, that we implement it later, so there is no ambiguity here. Let's see. Then I create another class which is contain the main method, and here we instantiate the object g through class name games, g new games, g dot play, z dot play, both are same name, but here no ambiguity is there. We can run, you can see run as Java application, play football, play cricket. So that's how we achieve multiple inheritance through interfaces. Okay, so multiple inheritance is supported in case of an interface because there is no ambiguity. It is because its implementation is provided by the implementation class later. Now let's discuss about a few important observation about interface. An interface cannot contain instance field. An interface cannot contain instance field. The only fields that can appear in an interface must be declared both static and final. That is, variables in the interface are by default final, public and static. The interface keyword is used to declare an interface. All the methods of an interface are automatically public. For that reason, it is not necessary to supply the keyword public when declaring a method in an interface. There is no issue occur if you do not declare the supply the keyword public in interface methods. Okay, an interface cannot contain a constructor. That's why I am telling we achieve 100% abstraction here. Interface use only one specifier, that is public. To implement an interface, you use keyword implements, and an interface extends the other from the parent interface. Yes, it Java interface contains static constant and abstract methods. Okay, let's see on another example. Here I create one interface. You can see here public interface animal, then declared two methods, and these methods have no body, ended with semicolon. Then I create a class cow, where right click here the package and go to new and create class, where I implement the animal interface. And now the responsibility of the class cow is to define these two methods, animal sound and animal sleep. Then I create another interface, another class as elephant, which implement the same animal and interface. So here then also same, the responsibility of the elephant class is to define those methods which is present in the interface animal. So animal sound, here elephant says bow, animal sleep, elephant sleep. So here we define these two methods. Now I create the third class that tests those, and which contain the main method. Here I create the object of cow, and here then assess those two methods, and the object of elephant, and assess those two methods. Right click here, run as Java application. So cow sleep, cow says moo, elephant sleep, elephant says bow. Okay, that's how we implement. Here I use one interface, and two different classes implement that interface, where their own logic, their own business logics. Okay, so that is the benefit of using interface. So when you wanted to achieve 100% abstraction, that at that moment you can use the concept of interface. Okay, now let's see another example of interface. Here I create two interface, name is RBI. This is the bank example. So here I RBI, here create interface RBI, here I declare three method. Define this method later. Okay, so here I declare three method, that is no method body. RBI education loan, home loan, car loan, US bank. This is debit, credit, transfer money, trading. These are the methods which I declare it. Okay, these are abstract, and then here is no abstract keyword here. Okay, these are abstract in nature, no abstract keyword here. And here the static, I declare the variable which is static in nature. By default it is static and final nature. Okay, in interface. Now I create two classes, ICICI bank. Okay, and before that I create another class as a finance class. Okay, this is a separate class which define its own method. It is a concrete method. It is body. Now I create ICICI bank that extends this finance class. Okay, which is not an abstract class, and then simultaneously it implements the two interfaces, US bank and RBI. So now it's the responsibility of the ICICI bank is to define all those methods present in this interface US bank and RBI, and it inherits the method of finance too. So you can see all the method inside it. the education loan override, home loan override, car loan override, debit override, credit override, transfer money override, trading override. Okay, now let's define method in ICICI Bank. Here this method not override method, and now I define two methods here which is not override, means it is not present in the interface or the super class or the parent class. Okay, that is ICICI mutual funds and ICICI insurance. Now let's test it. So I create a different separate class with content main method, name is bank. Okay, so here the bank method content bank class content the main method, where I create an object of ICICI Bank which extends the finance class and implement the two interfaces. So using this object I can access all the methods which is present inside ICICI Bank. So IC.educational loan, home loan, IC.car loan, IC.credit, IC.debit, transfer money, trading, okay, IC.mutual funds, IC.insurance, and so on. Okay, so let's run this. You can access it now. You can see the output, everything: ICICI education loan, home loan, car loan, credit, debit, transfer money, mutual funds, insurance, that static 100, and credit here. US Bank, this is the interface name. You can see US Bank is the interface, but we can't create the object of US Bank, but we can use it as a reference. So US is here reference variable, and this is the new ICICI Bank is the object. Okay, and it acts as a reference. So remember, we can't create object of interface, but we can use it as a reference. So we understand the concept of abstraction, overview of interfaces, see through understand through coding of an example, and the need for interface in Java, and why and when to use interface. So interface contains abstract methods, that is methods without body. Interface does not use abstract keyword. We cannot instantiate object of interface, but we can use interface as reference, and through interface we achieve 100% abstraction, multiple inheritance, and loose coupling. That's it. So thank you so much for listening, and see you in the next lesson. If you have any doubt, please write in the comment box. I will definitely reply you back. Thank you.